far I've knit 3 things in 2026. So this is my new top. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I'm so happy with how it turned out. But I started knitting this in December, and it was this part. This bottom part actually took me like probably a whole month to do, and then this top part I finished in like a week. Finished in 2026. The next thing I knit was this, or is, because it's kind of still in progress, is this vest. I made it for my mother for her birthday, which has passed. It was in the beginning of February, and all I need to do is tuck in all of these like loose strings that are still floating around, and I want to put a border around it. I'm going to do this edging. I've never done it before. I think that's why it's taking me forever because it's a whole new technique I have to learn. I like my projects, I can just like pick them up and do them during dinner, which is what I've been doing with my current baby, my work in progress, the cloud sweater. Just look how magnificent this yarn is. Here is where I am working. I have like a decent amount of inches left because I love just big oversized sweatshirts, if you can't tell. So I started working on this the end of January, and it's, what day is today? Today's the 26th. I'm leaving for vacation quite soon, and I don't think I'm gonna finish this by the end of the month, but here we are. This is like my pride and joy. I'm so proud of how this turned out. So these are my three knits kind of 2026. So how much did making all these cost? Well, currently nothing, because I paid for all of them back last year. That's what I enjoy about knitting, is you pay like once and then you get so much fun and use out of it for weeks and months to come. If we want to get into the numbers, I bought needles on Amazon. I think it was for 30 bucks for this little case of interchangeable needles. I'll show you. This is her. Looks like it should be for a little kid, which I feel like I basically am. Don't mind this, but it has all of the sizes you could need, all of the cables to attach. I also have like my scissors, my little baby scissors. And I cut all of the green out of my sweater, so it's in here in case I need it. Let's see how much the yarn was. For this lovely Mew top, yarn cost $35 for all of this, and I have a ton left over, so I'm gonna have to make something else with this same look, which will be exciting. I don't know when. For this vest, all of the yarn ended up being $28. All of these are not including like shipping, tariffs, or anything. Then this, of course, so beautiful. This Lane Cloud yarn was the most expensive out of all of these, but it was a Christmas gift, so I didn't pay for it. But it was $123 for 5 balls of this beautiful Lane Cloud yarn. So in total, I used $186 worth of yarn in 2026 so far. So personally, I've spent $63 on yarn, and thank you to my parents for paying for the more expensive yarn for me, because it's literally double the price for half the amount of yarn. Oh my god, I didn't realize that. So in total, with my knitting needles and all of the yarn, I spent $216, but as I said, all of this was paid for last year when I started these projects, so we're gonna say zero, because zero is what hit my credit card for all of these to continue doing them, which is why I love knitting so much. I have also paid for 2 more sweaters worth of yarn that I'm going to be making next month and the month after. So if you're looking for a hobby that, you know, you pay a decent amount once and it provides so much entertainment for months to come, you should look into picking up knitting. Hello, let's talk about pottery. So this is a pottery studio I belong to. I didn't make that much this month compared to what I normally would make. So this month I made 5 pieces. 1 technically is not all the way finished, so 4 fully completed ones. I'll start with my favorite. I made this big cup. It was inspired by the Parthenon when I went back in October to Greece, to Athens, and I spent a lot of time adding on these temple fixtures everywhere, so I'm really happy with how it came out. Does it have a purpose yet? No. I'm thinking once I move out, it can be like where my toothbrush and my stuff for the bathroom are held in. The next one I'm most excited about is this mug here. I got this brown speckled clay for the first time, and I was inspired by Pinterest. I just wanted to like really let the clay shine so I knew what it looked like and how other things I would make would come out. I just love the star and this nice big handle. It's definitely being added to like my forever mug collection. And kind of to match it, I made this tiny little cup with different stars all around it. I got pho the other weekend and they gave us this like amazing jasmine tea in all of these little cups, and I was like, wait, I should make a little cup. But now I'm like, I want more of them, and maybe a teapot too. So these ones have really inspired me. The next piece, I'm really happy with how it turned out, but it turned out kind of wonky and I don't know what to do with it. I made this mug. I love how the handle came out like this crescent moon. I tried a new glaze combination and I think it came out really nice and fun, but that is like not a circle. That is an oval. It is really quite bent here. So everything I've shown you has been hand built. I am not that good at throwing, or I used to be good, but I got out of practice, and this is the easiest way to make things look how I want them to look with the lowest effort possible. The last one, which is my non-finished one, is this cup. It's actually a gift for a friend. Her birthday is back in January, and I'm the worst with all of the closures and the hours. It took actually ages for me to finish this. So it has something on the other side, so I'm not going to show you. But I forgot to put it clear on top. So it's a little rough, so I need to put it back in the kiln. Actually, let's go clear laze this now, and I'll talk about how expensive this hobby is. So, to be a member of this studio, it costs about $170 a month. And that gets me 25 hours to hang out in the space and use everything they have with the exception of clay. So a bag of clay is about $25 for white clay. The speckled clay I showed you is $35 a bag. And I bought one bag of clay, which was the speckled one this year. So just on my monthly membership, I've spent $340 this year. My mental math right now is correct. I spent $375 including the clay, which is kind of crazy. It doesn't stop there though. You pay for every piece you fire. I have not looked up that number yet. I'm gonna guess it was about 50 bucks. So if we're going with my 50 for firing, that brings me to $425 I've spent in 2 months here at the pottery studio. How do I feel about that number? Not terrible. I enjoy doing pottery. Do I wish the things I made were better for such a high price? Yes, but that is a me problem. But I do think that's why I kind of gravitate towards my other hobbies that are less expensive and I can do them from my home. But I have been needing a reason to leave the house lately, so my January and February total for pottery is making 5 pieces and spending $425. My next hobby we're going to talk about is sourdough. I've spent a lot less money on that, so let's go back to my house. All right, let's talk about sourdough. I've already discarded a good portion of it. I am giving her, she doesn't actually have a name. Maybe she should, but I'm going on vacation for a week, so I'm giving her a nice big feed. I'm probably still gonna have someone in my family feed my sourdough while I am gone, but. So, since the new year, I have made 4 different sourdough loaves. Well, not 4 different. I've made 2 of the same kind and 2 new flavors to me. Wow. That was impressive. So I've made 4 sourdough loaves. 2 were this Oreo cookies and cream loaf that I made for one for my cousin's birthday, one for my family because they didn't get to try the first one. It turned out really good. I added in the inclusions the morning of baking it, which I know is kind of untraditional, but what I wanted to do is I basically took out all of the Oreo cream from a whole package of Oreos and like frosted it on like the flattened dough, and then I added the inclusions of the crumbled Oreos and rolled it all up, and it was really good. That loaf surprised me. I had never made a sweet loaf up until that point. All of mine have been like quite savory, so that was super fun. I made another sweet loaf. We always had the Pepperidge Farms raisin cinnamon swirl bread growing up, and I was like, wait, I should make a sourdough version. So I added in we had craisins because we didn't have raisins at home, some cinnamon and brown sugar, and that came out really good too. Couldn't top the Oreo, but still really good. And the last loaf I made, I never even ended up eating. I sent it to my brother who's away at military school. It is this prosciutto and cheddar bread. phenomenal. I made it a few times now, and it's just like the most delicious thing I've ever had in my life. I don't plan very far in advance for my sourdough. It's like if an occasion is coming, I'll try it out. I'm thinking my birthday is next month. Maybe I should make like a sprinkles and like marshmallow loaf. I think that could be really good. But other than that, I haven't made just like a plain loaf in a while, and I love making sandwiches on just a nice plain sourdough loaf. So sourdough is not a very expensive hobby for me because I live at home with my family, and my family really enjoys my bread, so they buy bread flour for me. That's really the only expense that comes with it, or like the inclusions if I'm making like a different kind of bread. Thank you for my basically free hobby that I do. So in 2026, I have knit 3 projects, made 5 pieces of pottery, and 4 loaves of sourdough. I feel like those are pretty good numbers. I guess we'll compare it to the rest of the months. I'm hoping to do this every other month for the rest of the year. And yes, we've spent a grand total of $425 that hit my credit card in the new year for my 3 lovely hobbies that I love so much. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Would love to hear in the comments about your hobbies and if you spend an exorbitant amount of money on them too, like I feel I do. All right, thank you for watching. See you next week.